The Philippines is the only country in Asia and among the three remaining countries in the world that has 10-year basic education cycle. Enhancing the quality of basic education in the Philippines is urgent and critical. That's why they adopted the new curriculum, which is the K-12 curriculum.
I think the issue is pag-implement sa K-12 is like, yes, you have our teachers and every seminars, they undergo a lot of trainings or seminars outside of our school, pero then we could say na prepared learners learn, but some of the issues were ang facilities sa school, like for example, like, ang facilities sa other school, like, then kulang like not enough good yun ang mga preparations ko. Minsan seminars or trainings sa ilang. Then, but so far here in CSO is Chada ang facility. Since Duharman is actually
Isa sa problem siya naman ang preparation siya for college. Kaya nakatag siya o time sa mga choose kayo sa course. But ang nakarisip lang like for example, hindi ko nag-senior high, junior high, hindi ko nag-finish sa junior high. But hindi ko in-line sa STEM. And ang ikuan lang kay kaning swimmer, ang i-offer kay sarap lang, limit lang siya ingala. So mapugos ang student na sila yung STEM na lang ko. Follow ko na ako second option na lang ako i-follow. Kasi lahi ako sa academic, lahi ako kaya tungod kay, wala mo kina-adjust kay isa financial, isa kay tayo sa family, isa kay lisod na i-adjust ko, balhin pa ko. Tapos lain kayo sa family, ang imong junior high kayo, yun ang kaparehas sa senior high. So, isa sa namin sa malain lang. Although, siya kay maghatag siya more time sa mga sa students, ang nakalain lang dito kay dili tanan biyaw sa mga schools.
The K-12 program covers kindergarten and 12 years of basic education. This 12 years of basic education is subdivided into three: 6 years of primary education, 4 years of junior high school, and 2 years of senior high school. It is to provide sufficient time for mastery of concepts and skills, develop lifelong learners, prepare graduates for tertiary education, middle.
Hey, good afternoon, sir. So these are the questions related to the implementation of the K-12 curriculum. First is, what is your impression of the current curriculum?
Okay, the K-12 curriculum basically is one of the major leap of the government in preparation of the internationalization process among higher education curriculum. I think this is one of the best possible ways for the government to be at par with other education curriculum, especially that we do not only have the ASEAN integration here among Southeast Asian countries, but more so, we would like to be at par with other countries. So I think one of the impressions that I have with the curriculum, although there are a lot of issues regarding it, is that this is one of the best ways for students to be developed further in preparation of a college diploma or degree.
And another question is, what are the issues and concerns faced by the teachers under this curriculum?
Okay, regarding the issues faced by teachers of senior high school, one is in terms of classroom, we do not have enough classroom to cater to the number of students, especially during our first implementation in this university. We failed to anticipate that there is a need basically of more than 5 or 10 classrooms. That is why up until today, the university, some of the senior high school are being catered by other colleges like the College of Arts and Sciences. Apart from that, we also have difficulty in determining the kind of courses our students would like to have, basically because it's our first time implementing the K-12. And also, in terms of the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics plan, I think since our university is undertaking construction activities, so there's really a need for these students to be exposed to laboratory works, especially that, as I've said, these students have to be prepared for a college degree. Other than that, we do not have issues.
Next question is, do you think that the teachers are well equipped for this curriculum?
To tell you frankly, teachers are also having a hard time teaching senior high school students and subjects, especially that most of the subjects are new, and that as novice teachers of the field, although we come from the college department, in my case, we come from the social science department, but still there's greater challenge for all of us senior high school teachers to teach the subject, especially its content, especially that the senior high school curriculum is very demanding in terms of performance tasks, content, and exams to be undertaken. Also, with regards to their subjects, since most of the subjects are new, if not most, all of the subjects are new, although students have a workbook, but then again, the way in which the workbook, the content of a course is presented in a workbook is really different from that of the teacher's experience. Yes, that is why there's really a need to further develop the teacher's ability to handle senior high school subjects. Add to that, there's also a need to strengthen the teacher's professional capability. So what I'm telling you here is there is a need for teachers to have or to join seminars and conferences related to their field of specializations. In my case, I am supposed to handle humanities students, humanities subjects, and considering that humanities as a field is really a diverse subject, that includes diverse subjects. So I think teachers like me have to be honed in terms of the content, the mastery of content of that field. Apart from that, there's no question about the ability of the teachers, especially that these teachers are well prepared. Of course, the university is also prepared. It's just that subjects are really new.
So if you don't mind, can I ask this question? Where do you think does the administration get the funds for the wages of the newly hired teachers?
Considering that this is a new program coming from the government actually funds 50% for the tuition fee of these enrollees, senior high school students that we have. So I think that the funds that was actually supported by the government is also the wage of the teachers. But since the wage, if we are to wait for, if the government, especially if the university would wait for a support from the government, then it's going to be a worst case scenario, especially it's going to lag. I think last year, when this program was implemented, the university has funded the teachers' wages, since the support coming from the government took 4 months, I think, before it was delivered to the university.
This is our last question. Based on your observation, what are the issues and concerns that the students undergone upon the implementation of this curriculum?
Issues of concern. One is the availability of a strength that they really need. Last year, we opened 5 strands, if I'm not mistaken. We have STEM, ADM, UMS, GAS, and we included F&B. But this year, only 1 strand is being opened, the STEM strand. So I think the difficulty right now, even before, is that the continuity of student enrollees, and at the same time, student who will graduate from their grade 10, who would become grade 11 and grade 12, they won't be having a choice of looking for another strand in this university. So I think they have to look for other schools which will cater their interest, their passion towards another strand. I think students also had difficulties in managing their time, especially that they are not yet immersed with the so-called college life practice. So what they were inculcated is that they have to be treated like the junior high school. So I think the mentality is still there, and there is really a hard time shifting from that mentality to a college life mentality. Another thing is, of course, the distance of students from school to their original house. So in our case, we have several students who are from the southern part of Bukidnon, like Kadingilan, Kalulangan, Wao, and the northern part of Bukidnon. So I think they also experience financial problems and emotional and psychological difficulties, especially that it was their first time being away from their family. What is your impression of the K-12 curriculum?
Generally, based on my experience, the K-12 curriculum is actually better than the RBEC, which is the previous curriculum. Especially that I am a product myself of RBEC, which is the previous curriculum replaced by K-12. As I can see now, being a teacher in the senior high school, being the 2 years added to the old curriculum, that my students are more equipped with what they really need in college, not actually just for college, but also for life. In the senior high school, let me focus on the senior high school since I am a senior high school teacher. They are already, trained in research. They actually have 3 research subjects in senior high school for 2 years. And then they also have entrepreneurship, which can help them learn skills for business, or how they can initiate on their own, how they can innovate, so that they can have their own business in the future. Say for instance, for those students who cannot really pursue their college, they have that. On top of that, on top of the skills, they're also well equipped with the content knowledge where their specialization is aligned. Say for instance, the STEM students, which are inclined with science and mathematics, have lots of science and mathematics specialized subjects. As of now, our grade 12 students are already taking 2 biology subjects, 2 chemistry subjects, 2 physics subjects, and an earth science subject. That is already a lot for a high school student, diba? So if we look at it, if they turn to college and pursue a science-related course, then they must be very ready for to take these courses which are related in science. That is actually an advantage of the K-12 curriculum. On top of that, if I talk about the junior high school, the spiral curriculum of the junior high school is an effective method actually. When I say spiral, there are topics in grade 7 that are just enriched in grade 8, in grade 9, and in grade 10. The spiral curriculum, take note, only ends in grade 10. Because in the senior high school, 11 and 12, it is not following the spiral curriculum anymore. It focuses on the mastery of the content and mastery of skills already. So overall, K-12 for me is an effective decision of the government.
Yes, sir. That's a very positive feedback about the curriculum, sir. So, how about the issues and concerns, sir, that you face under this curriculum, sir?
Issues.
Issues and concerns.
I see. Okay. So one issue that we actually faced before, especially on the first year of the implementation, is that not all our teachers are equipped with the knowledge that they need to teach the kids in the senior high school. Especially that it is the pioneering batch, and then the teachers are not really trained that much in teaching particular subjects. Although some of us, say teachers who are teaching the content area, say science, well, there's no question that these teachers are well equipped in that. But not a lot of teachers can teach in the high school, can teach research, say for instance. Diba? So some teachers might be teaching research who are really not that inclined into research, something like that, because you cannot really teach research effectively if you're not conducting your own research yourself. Diba? Another issue is that some parents still see the senior high school as just an additional burden, an additional or 2 additional years of expenses for their children. Although the senior high school is still basic education, it's still free, diba? Pero apart from the free tuition and all, there can really be some expenses that the parents will be facing, since it is the education for their children, so like books, requirements, and so on. But still, overall, the effect for their kids is positive for the senior high school and the K-12 as well.
Yes, sir. For the transition of the learners, sir, from the junior high school to senior high school, sir, there are also issues and concerns from them, sir, or for them.
Well, in the case of Buksu,
Yes, sir.
there are issues just like, say, the junior high school laboratory completers would say like to take up ABM, the strand which is in line with business and accountancy. But next year, we will not be offering ABM anymore. Meaning to say, they will need to look for another school to take up this particular strand. Since Buksu, SLS, will be offering STEM only, actually started this year. The grade 11 this year is already offering STEM. We're only waiting for the grade 12 students to graduate. And that will be the last batch of ABM, gas, Humes, and food and beverage students. For the following year, we will only accept STEM students. Aside from that, we have a lot of students who come from far places. And the concern here is that it's the proximity of the school to their places. Also, aside from that, some students might not be ready yet to be independent, to be far from their parents, and problems like students who get involved with their peers and not getting in class anymore because napaguhan sa environment because it's their first time to be away from their parents, those kind of issues. But those are actually minor to think about it. Also, because of the location, say we have students from Waco, we actually have students from Misamis Occidental, come from the very far province already. Their parents cannot actually follow up the progress of their students, of their kids, as much as those parents who come from Malay-Malay. Say, if we ask them to come to school for a homeroom meeting or for the convocation of their children, they cannot actually come here, even though their kids are honor students. We have lots of honor students who do not have their parents as they walk in front and receive their award. Those kind of issues. Aside from that, I think there's something else.
So, about the concern, or about the issues in your region, is the government where did the government get the fund for your wages, sir.
Wages.
Yes, sir. For wages, sir. Because it's an additional teachers for the senior high, sir.
I see.
I think it's, additional
So, this is actually different in the case of DepEd schools, in the case of universities like this school,
yes, sir.
and different from private schools. Universities like Buksu receive the least budget from the government for the senior high school. That is because we are actually expected to have facilities already, unlike DepEd schools who are not actually ready in terms of facilities. So they receive higher budget, and the private schools as well. So because of that, because SUCs like Buksu receive a small amount of budget per student, that's approximately 8,000 per student for the whole year, for 1 year. These budgets would just be allotted to the wages of the teachers, for the salary of the teachers. So some parents would actually ask that, why is it that in DepEd, the voucher, the money from the government, can still be used for, say, projects of their children. But in BSU, we cannot do that anymore because this is a small budget we're talking about, and that this can only be allotted to the salary of the teachers. And on top of that, it is not enough to pay the teachers, especially with the number that we had last year. Say, K-12 students, it's not enough. So, that's it. The salary of the senior high school teachers comes from the voucher that the government sends to the school, and then since it is not enough, as mentioned by our principal actually, the university itself spends for the teachers, for the salary of the teachers.